Good morning, everyone. It is kind of cool outside this Saturday morning. It's really cool, actually. The sun's just now coming out, peeking over 7:33. You still can't see it, though. The sun, the clouds are kind of... Well, it's dewy out, you know? I'm happy I'm leaving. I was going to clean out these gutters again. I've already cleaned them twice since I've been, in this house. I just cleaned them not that long ago. That roof is actually pretty steep. It was kind of hard to do it. I had to, the ladder wasn't tall enough for me to stand on the ladder and clean them out. So what I did was I put the ladder on the porch right here, and it was about this high, and I jumped up on the roof, and then I cleaned the roof too as well, because you see all the branches and shit on the back side of my house. It gets really bad, actually, and you can tell if you leave it. If you don't clean up the leaves and shit, right over here, I'll show you. During the winter, if you don't clean up all the shit before the winter starts, you fuck up the house, man. You see they put this addition back here. I don't believe this was here before. I think it was added on, because his house is pretty much the same exact house, but he has an upstairs, which surprises me. This one doesn't, even though I've looked up there. There's enough room. If you go in my bedroom, and you open up the closet, there's, the room to go, the hole to go upstairs, well, not upstairs, but in the rafters and, the attic. And I was gonna, if I lived in this house, what I was gonna do is remove that, right? Remove the board, and then make like a wooden ladder, bolted to the wall, so the kids could go up it. And then I was going to, plywood the whole upstairs, basically the attic, and then, the ceiling and stuff. And then, basically make it like a fort, get a whole bunch of beanbags and stuff, run some vents, make sure there's, there's some AC up there, for them, and then they could just, I'd get a game system up there, some computer stuff, all types of stuff, toys and shit, and I'd make it so they couldn't fall down, they would have to be old enough to realize that they'd be able to open it, close it, but that was what I was gonna do on top, up in the attic, since it didn't have an upstairs for now, unless I, did an addition in the house, which I was actually thinking about taking that back room and then just making extending it, or putting a deck right here. That was the plan, but I met Margarita, and I decided to propose to her, so Margarita's from Mexico City, so I've always wanted to have a place down south, like a business in a sense. I mean, not like a home, but well, I want a home down there, but I wanted like my own thing down there, so that's what we're doing. That's what I'm getting ready to do. I got to get this truck running so we can get down there. I blew 3 transmissions, otherwise I wouldn't be in this position. I drive hard, so, and the Chevy 350 I had in there with the upgraded fuel injection kit, it just, the stock 4L60s can't handle the torque, the power, and then the way I drive, so I have to upgrade, and I did. I got probably the best upgrade I can get, So yeah, this is getting pulled apart. I'm about to go put a hoodie on. I'm about to build a T, basically a brace, and lift this up, get the trans separated, get the diff out, get it listed, so I can earn some money today. People are messaging me. I haven't messaged anyone back yet, so I'm kind of excited. I am. Money, that's $2,000, man. And so I'm also thinking, yesterday I was at the junkyard, the salvage yard. They have a Honda CRV, an 04, and an 06. She was willing, dude, she gave me a great price on the first one. If I can she told me a great price. If I can rack up $1,000 real quick between this trans, the diff, and the transfer case, I'm gonna try. I haven't seen the other one. I want to look at the other one. if it has a good motor trans, I'm probably gonna try to get them to do a double deal. To try to get both of them dropped off. Because it doesn't make any sense for me just to do one. If I can get two for that great of a price, because she has two of them, I'll make more money. It makes more sense for me to grab two drivetrains than one out. I'm already doing the work, right? The first one will go slow. The second one, I'll be able to knock out real quick because I'll already know what to do. And I'll have two sets of drivetrains, you know what I mean? I can pick out the best parts from both, and then I'll be able to make more money. This is what I'm saying is, I'm about to show you guys how to do all this stuff, you know, how to make money on the side hustle. If you're a car person, even if you're not a car person, you know, you like cars, you can do this stuff, you know what I mean? It's not hard stuff. I mean, it's hard work, but it's not, you know. You gotta have space for it, though. That's the problem. This is also why I'm taking advantage of it, because I have this house still for a little longer before I have to leave. You know, the court has to give me a certain amount of time to be out. I haven't paid rent. I'm not going to. My dad, you know, was supposed to help me with half the rent, and, you know, he took off because, you know, basically said peace, retrospect, you know, and it's fine because he's not even my real biological father, you know. I tried to make it work out with him, and it didn't, so I'm actually thankful it didn't, because I would still be here working at a career, right, trying to make it work instead of, you know, being with the woman that I proposed to, you know, down south. Which is what I was going to do anyways, but, you know, I was going to bring my dad with me, you know, and my dad was just causing nothing but problems, you know, bitching and whining about everything, or not listening to anything I say, or, you know, don't believe in anything, man. That's why you'll hear me say a lot. You'll hear me say it a lot. When you see light, everyone else sees darkness. That's just how it is, man. Unless you got a good group of friends, which, you know, you guys can establish a relationship, that's amazing. I almost envy you guys, because I've traveled so much, you know, all my jobs have required me to move around, and then, you know, my childhood, my father, the one I was just talking about, dragged me around from woman's house to woman's house. So, you know, and even before that, when I lived with my mom, before I, you know, moved out of my mom's house because of my abusive father, you know, she dragged me from house to house. You know, we never stayed in a home longer than a couple years, you know. You know, I was always going to different schools, always going to a new school. So I never, you know, all my friends, motherfucker, man, all the people that I knew, I would lose contact with, you know, for years at a time. You know, and I have ran into these people. I have met these people, you know, seen my old friends, you know, later, you know, years later on down the road, you know, at parties and stuff like that, you know, coming back to the old neighborhood, you know, because, you know, I've moved back. It's happened. My friends will tell you that. I can call up a few people and they'll tell you exactly the same thing. So, you know, and I know that there's other people that, you know, are in the same position as me. You know, they grew up in a similar way. So I'm happy, I'm excited to be able to help those that are struggling, if they still are, which I know there's got to be. I struggle every day, so if I'm struggling every day and I know that, you know, I'm capable of running $1 million company because I've owned one, you know, I know for a fact there's others out there. I see it every day. You know, I don't even have to know. I see it. I see it everywhere. My neighbors across the street, my neighbors next door, all of my family. You know, this is why I'm doing Life Stories Perspectives, because it's almost like a podcast, you know? It's almost like a church service every day in a sense, you know? You can, you know, I love listening to people talk about good stuff. I listen to a lot of people. not as much now because I'm doing it myself. So it's been a little different for me lately. I've been kind of getting used to that, getting the hang of, waking up and, doing this. This is not an easy thing to do, letting someone into your life, because the way people are, people are, they'll use you, they'll use you as a pawn. But I am a pawn. That's the thing, is I am a pawn. I'm a pawn for Jesus. Which I mentioned in a video before that, my book that I wrote, which I'm trying to finish, which I have a publishing house willing to publish it for me for free. They like who I am or what it is I speak about, and they're another ministry, and they follow my Facebook. They write me every week, once a month, not every week. I don't know why I said every week. They write me once a month, and I write them back. So I'm trying to get down to Texas. They're in Texas, so that's another goal of mine, But I mentioned that the book's about chess, and I mentioned in another video that if you know what it is I'm talking about, if you know what the best chess piece on the chessboard is, comment below. Tell me what it is and tell me why. I want to see what it is you know. I want to see what it is you think, what's running through your mind. And if you're interested in that stuff, I'll tell you what it is and why. I'm going to be showing people the game of life. Because life is exactly like chess. Exactly like chess. So, that's why chess was invented. So, and that water ended up getting too warm last night. It got too warm last night, and that milk kind of went sour on me, which I put over there for all the cats are drinking it. Which I'm gonna give them the eggs. They'll lick it up. They will. So I only seen one over there this morning. In the fort when I went over there, only one took off. There was only one. The rest of them were out and about, but obviously they're back now. Probably for food. They know old man's getting up. This is the time he usually gets up. Feeds the cats. About 8:30. 8 o'clock. Trying to get these fucking... I just did all the dishes and my dumbass just fucking knocked over my coffee pot, and fucking all the coffee just went all over my fucking pots and pans, so now I gotta wash them all. Fucking stupid. Alright, I have coffee. I gotta make lemon. I gotta eat. I'm mad because I was about to drink that milk, you know what I'm saying? And eat some cinnamon rolls, and my dumbass, I didn't let the water get cold enough, so. Oh well. I want to eat these though because they're about to go bad today. If I don't eat them, they're going to be hard. Tomorrow, they're going to be bad. I gotta eat them. I just rolled the joint. I got my coffee. I gotta make lemon water for the day. Sucks if milk in there. There's a little bit because I had like this much coffee on the bottom from last night. If you guys watched the video last night, I went right to bed, dude. I said fuck it, man. I really did because it was pointless for me to stay up. I don't have help. I'm gonna be setting all that up, working in the dark. I'm gonna fuck something up or hurt myself. It ain't worth it. People can wait. I haven't messaged anyone back yet, so, which I'm about to, but I want to get it off, man. I want to make it look nice, I want to have it ready for the person. It's not going to take me long to get it done, so that's why I'm waiting. I'm so hungry. Thank you, Lord, for this food. I ask you, Father, that you bless those who have made this food, because these cinnamon rolls are amazing. They are. Amen. They're better than the Cinnabon ones. The Cinnabon cinnamon rolls are too sweet to me. This coffee, I'm telling you. If you haven't had this coffee yet, go get you some. It's the best coffee. And you get, it's vacuum packed, so you're getting your money worth. That bin over there isn't. I like the aroma of Folgers and Maxwell House, but I'm telling you, the Cafe Bustelo, overall, it's a more versatile coffee. It is. And it's the taste of it, the texture, everything is it's way better. Stronger too, in my opinion. It lasts longer too, and I feel. Sometimes like the Folgers and Maxwell on certain days will get me more wired than this for some reason, but overall on an everyday basis drinking, I'm telling you, that Cafe Bustelo, it doesn't get better. It doesn't get any better than that. I mentioned in the video, it's actually easier to get that. There's more Spanish-speaking people around the world than there is English-speaking people. And there's more Mandarin-speaking people around the world than there is any other language. There's more Asian Mandarin-speaking people in the world, period. The global population is mostly Asian Mandarin. It's crazy. It's not, really, if you think about it. Even Margarita, a lot of times, she's full-blown Mexican, but her face, you know what I mean? Her eyes and stuff, a lot of times people mistaken her for being Asian. But she's not. Trust me, she's not. And she'll tell you. Though she loves Asian culture, she listens to Chinese music, Japanese music, all that stuff, man. That woman blows my mind. I can't wait to see her, man. I'm so excited to see her. It's been forever. Her contract's almost up, man. Just a little bit longer. I gotta get this truck running so I go get her. I gotta be able to drive. She's gonna fucking freak when she sees that truck, and it's got the new motor in it, and it's got twice as much power. She's gonna lose it. It's gonna sound better too. It's gonna sound different. I can't wait. I'm excited to get that motor running. And it's an iron block with aluminum heads, man. It's a 6.0. It's a very desirable motor. I got the good motor. I went out of my way, man. It was a headache dealing with my fucking family. Dealing with my uncle over that truck. Remember, that was one of his work trucks, you know what I'm saying? He made a lot of money with that truck, you know what I'm saying? To him, he's giving away a business in a sense, you know what I mean? To him, that's how he sees it. But he's also the dumbass that sold it to somebody that fucking didn't go in business with him and parked it. Their family parked it instead, and then fucked it up. Fucked up the whole cab and the wiring harness, so tells you how smart he is. He ain't that smart. Because if he was that smart, I wouldn't have ended up with it. So, he's actually a dickhead. But I know every time I see him, he's going to be a dickhead, so I know what I'm getting. That's why I prepare myself before I even see him. I just be a bigger dickhead than him. That's all. That's how it works, you know? You want to be a dickhead? Well, I'll be a dickhead too. I'll show you what a real dickhead is. I'll whip that bitch out, smack it on your forehead. That's a real dickhead. Believe me, I can be one. You don't want me to be one. You don't. You'll lose. I promise you, you'll lose. You won't win. I'm tired of the seeds. So I'm picking them out. They're not hard to pick up. I like to squeeze that lemon like this. That's how I usually do it. I actually, squeeze it, put my finger and squeeze out the lemon. Cause I like the texture of it too. I like the skin, on the inside, all the pulp. I'll break it. I'll tear it up. See how it's falling in there? That's how I like it, man. It's better that way. I'm telling you, man. I go out of my way for lemons. I do. If I don't have them, I get frustrated. I will. I'll get headaches. I won't use the bathroom right. I'll get nauseous. I'll get sick if I don't have them. It's insane. Once I started eating them, it changed my diet so much that I can't. It's so amazing how beneficial it is. It is. I'm telling you, go buy yourself some. You're not gonna feel it. I mean, you'll feel the energy in the day. You'll notice your energy lasts throughout the day longer when you eat and stuff. The food don't wear out as fast. You know what I'm saying? You don't wear out as fast. Your stamina stays longer. That's why I do it. Also, it helps with processing everything. The enzymes, all the acidity. Your body needs it. Promise you, if you don't have lemons or lime in your diet, you don't have enough acid in your stomach. You don't have enough acidity in your diet. And this is every day. You gotta have this every day. Every day. I mean, you can go without it, obviously. I've gone months and months without ever having a lemon. Sometimes I've gone years without having a lemon. Not anymore. It's mandatory. Which I've been studying the chemicals in it. Which there's actually the best one so far, the best, healthiest chemicals I found for the body, which I've been studying, which are actually red blood oranges. Blood oranges, the red ones, they get red overnight when it gets cold. And there's a certain chemical that's in them that makes it do that. And that chemical is very rare. It's very healthy for you. But I'm not a big fan of blood oranges. They taste like grapefruit, kind of. There's that seed. I wanted that seed out. I should keep some of these seeds so I can start growing lemons down south. Have a couple lemon trees on my property, Be a good idea. Alright. Time to cut up my second lemon. I usually do 2 in the morning, 2 at night. If I'm broke, I'll stick just to 2 a day. If I'm, stretching everything out. But if I have, like, if I'm doing well that week, you know what I mean, and I have the extra money, I'll eat 4 of them a day. Which I said in another video, I'm gonna have to limit myself on the boat because I'm gonna have me and Margarita on the boat most of the time. It's both of us gotta eat. There's only so much storage on a boat, so you gotta take that into account. It depends. If you're going on a long trip, and you have only a certain amount of food for the trip, which you always want to compensate. When you sail, you gotta take in consideration of emergency things. Like, okay, it takes a 2-week journey, but the wind, I'm sailing, so the wind might not be good. So something that might take 2 weeks, on a good, average might take me 3, or the sail could break, or, both sails, my backup sail break, you know what I mean? All types of stuff, could happen. I gotta be to make sure I have enough food to hold me over till I get help, or, fix whatever it is that needs to be fixed so I can get to moving, get back inland, Um, if I go on a month trip, I'm going to make sure I have a month and a half worth of food. You understand what I'm saying? Always. That's why you got to keep a list. That's why you have a logbook on a vessel. Everything on a vessel, if you're running a business on a vessel or even living on it, you're going to have a logbook. And that's one of the problems I've been having with a lot of these boats. They're live-aboard vessels. They haven't been sailed. Most people that have these sailboats are just living on them, in the marina. They're not sailing them. One, they're too big to sail. They don't have 5 people to sail them with. That's why they only live on them. They want to sail, but they don't have enough people to sail these boats. They're too big. This is why I won't get a bigger than a 34. People say you can sail a 37. Some people are saying that, but on the internet safely, I don't see it. I don't. And the British government, for the most part, certifies a 27-foot vessel to cross the Atlantic. So, would I want to cross the Atlantic in a 27-foot boat? Not really, no. I would, depending on the vessel, depending on the boat, which there's a few of them I'm interested in, but I'm really shooting for 30-foot, 32-foot. The extra 3 foot is going to make a big difference. I'm going to have a lot of equipment, computer equipment, power equipment, all the stuff for weather equipment for chasing these storms, which I told Bill why I'm going to be doing this. So, during the 1970s is when the electronic boom started, right? Well, the largest hurricane typhoon in the world was recorded in the 70s. It was so big, it was the size of the United Continental States. From Atlantic Ocean to Pacific Ocean. That's how wide it was. Not how tall, that's how wide it was. It was in the middle of the Pacific. You can read about it. It's called Typhoon Tit. I posted it on my Facebook many times. Well, it was the most studied typhoon, hurricane in the world, and they said it was a Cat 5, which is insane, if you think about it. Well, the last listen, man, if that typhoon would have went left, right, anywhere, if it would have moved anywhere, it would have wiped out so many people. It's insane. And if you read it and stuff, you can actually start getting links to a lot of the stuff I study, and you'll be able to see what it is I'm talking about, how the fish are dying and stuff. How they're dependent on the ecosystem. The fish don't live, all the way down there or up there. They stay in like the middle, where that's like the good zone, the safe zone in a sense. Because of the temperature of the water and also the food, the algae grows. So these hurricanes are fucking up the ecosystem crazy, first of all. Second of all, is they recorded it as a Cat 5. Well, I study weather, I study storms, I wanted to always be a weatherman. I've always studied it my whole life, even though I don't, you know what I mean? Even though I don't go to school for it right this moment or anything, but it concerns me because the last hurricane typhoon that hit Florida, which is Ian, supposedly I've been reading, they study this. I've been reading on the internet that they believe, the scientists, the weather people are saying that they believe it hit a Cat 7, which we don't even have. It's insane. We don't even have a scale a weather scale that goes that high. Cat 5 was recently, in theory, we thought only Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5 was the highest, a hurricane would ever go, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. No, and it's, they're thinking that Ian hit a Cat 7. And that's insane if you think about it, because that means, from the 70s, right? If the largest hurricane typhoon ever recorded, which was 1,000 miles wide, right? And it happened in the 70s. And if you think about it, that's when the electronic boom started. Then you got the 80s and 90s, right? And then you look at the weather charts and you look at all these tornadoes and all these, all these hurricanes, typhoons that have been recorded. They're getting bigger, 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 and more frequent, more frequent. And for me to read that it went from a Cat 5 in the 70s, right? And they're talking about a Cat 7, that means it jumped. It didn't even go to a Cat 6. It just jumped. It went from Cat 5 to Cat 7. And most typhoons are Cat 2, Cat 3. So you got to look at the scale. It's, the J typhoon scale or whatever it's called. They got different, the military has a different one than the other side of the road. I believe there's only 5 stations. Japan, Hawaii, the French do one, the English do one, and I think Australia, I think it is. They have a joint task force, weather task force, that they join together when, it hits a certain speed, wind speed, which I need to get on the internet and start, I'm going to be doing videos on that stuff. That's what a lot of the channel's going to be about. You guys are going to be seeing that, all that computer stuff, me hooking up all this stuff, all these weather charts, data. You guys are going to be seeing typhoon storms. You guys are going to see damage. You guys are going to see, I'm going to be going to a lot of these places after the typhoon, and recording the after effects. I'm going to be helping people, after these disasters and stuff as well. So not only am I going to be studying, before the disaster, I'm going to be studying after the disaster. So I'm not looking forward to it in a sense, seeing all this, sadness and carnation and destruction, I mean. So, yeah. I need to get water and this lemon down and start drinking this coffee instead of talking. So please bear with me, Like I said, I'm letting you guys in my life, which it's kind of hard to balance all that, when you're first doing it, learning everything. But I feel like I've been doing pretty good, I don't feel, it's not like too much or anything, I actually enjoy it. I do. I enjoy this. The reason why I enjoy it is because I'm using my knowledge to help people. I know when someone comes across my videos, I know that if they actually listen to what it is I'm saying, they're gonna benefit if they use what it is I'm telling them. So, because the stuff I know is beyond what anybody else knows. And most of the stuff that I know, I've actually learned from God, not another person. So, that's the difference as well. A lot of what I speak about isn't from another person, passed down. And a lot of it is. Mostly everything I know, I've learned from another person. So, or the internet, which would still be from another person. I'm excited. Telling you, dude. This stuff right here is all the difference. This is the miracle drink right here. I promise you. There's some other stuff too I've been meaning to get. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys. Some sacred knowledge. It's surprising that I see people who don't know this stuff. It's sour. I didn't put that much sugar in it. I don't want a lot of sugar in it. I want the tart. You gotta have it, I'm telling you. Plus, when you do this too, you're forcing yourself to drink water. Nobody, unless you're, like me and you're forcefully drinking water, or you live in the South, you're not drinking enough water. Yeah, it's hard to get this down sometimes. I swallowed a couple seeds. I might grow a lemon tree in my stomach. All right, we're good. Now that I got that down, now I got to get my coffee down. It's hard. Listen, I love lemons, I do, but first thing in the morning, it's rough, man. It's hard to get down sometimes, especially if you're not feeling well. And it's hard to keep down sometimes. Sometimes I gotta lay down. Yep, my stomach's going crazy. I need to smoke. Got my pen. I hit this twice, and it's so harsh. It gets you there, though. It does. Oh, my stomach's going crazy. Where's my coffee? I'll be right back. I'm gonna empty my pockets. Oh, we're good. I thought I had more shit in my pockets. I want my coffee. You gotta get going. I don't want to start making a lot of noise. I'm kind of waiting till 9 o'clock before I start working. I don't want to piss off my neighbors. My neighbors are cool, so I'll try to be cool. Even though I don't really care, in a sense. Money is more important, but ain't nobody picking no transmission up for me anyways this early, so I gotta go take a piss. I'll be right back. Ah, bitch! What hurt? My dumb ass just ran my knee into the fucking table in the corner. Like an idiot. I was just washing my hands. Gotta get this lemon off my fucking fingers. My fingers are all sticky. Still a little cold out. Kind of chilly, dude. Putting on this damn sweater, man. Make some good money today. I gotta make some money today, man. I gotta get that shit separated. I'm hoping that fucking somebody comes and gets that transfer case today, too. I got all those clicks yesterday. No one's messaged me on it, though. But someone saved it. I haven't looked at it this morning. I seen all those messages last night for the trans. I'm about to message them all shortly, but I wanna get that shit started first. A lot of times, though, you get messages, it's bullshit, too. You always get, like, these scammers, or they'll try to get you to send a code. So, like, people are trying to hack people's Facebooks and stuff and get in their Facebooks. Don't ever send a code. Give them a code or do any of that shit. They're trying to get access to your Facebook for your friends list so they can scam your friends, in a sense. You know, the more friends you have, the more people they can attempt to scam. You know, and you know they have access to your Facebook. So if when the police go after them, you know what I'm saying, they're going after you. They think it's you scamming, not them. So, alright. We're going to do reading. It's 40 minutes, so I'll do some Bible study. We're going to smoke, do a chapter, and then I'll upload it, and then see about getting the shit taken care of, make some money to get this engine apart. Get it, get the stuff sold, or ready to sell, and then get the garage open and get the motor in the garage so I can start prepping the motor to get ready for my truck. And I can start working on the truck as well. I gotta start sorting through all those wires and stuff, because I'm gonna be simplifying it for now with the sniper kit, the fuel injection kit, the bolt-on fuel injection kit, so I don't have to use my wire harness. Which that means my harness has got to get tied up and put to the side somehow, somewhere tucked away, because I don't want to tear it out just yet, even though it's getting replaced with a custom one eventually. If I plan on turboing that motor or supercharging it or doing anything other than what I'm about to do now, which is the simplest way to get this truck running. See, Ryan is trying to argue with me the other day in another video, telling me to go carb. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's so much work. It's not a car. First of all, it's a distributor. It doesn't have a distributor, so it has coil packs. The kit that I'm purchasing, right? It comes with all that. It comes with all the stuff to run, the ignition system, everything, the fuel system. It all works together, and he's not understanding that. He doesn't understand that. He's thinking that the fuel injection kit that I get is just a fuel injection kit. It's not going to do ignition. He's like, you still got to do ignition. I'm trying to tell him it does ignition. It does all of that. It learns itself. That's why those kits are so amazing. Listen, it's all thought. The company thought of it. Thought it all out. Don't listen to people, man. Listen to yourself. Why I say listen to yourself, because your heart will tell you if someone is telling the truth or not. It's your job to sift through the bullshit. And people will lie for good intentions too. Which I'll be speaking about that eventually. As of right now, it's isolation. People isolate themselves. And also, people get isolated when they don't want to be isolated because nobody wants to come around. Nobody, if it wasn't for Bill, I'd be really fucked up. I'd be lonely. Him coming around, helping out has made a big difference. But for almost 3 months, almost about 6 months, 5-6 months, I've been alone. My dad hasn't been here. Nobody's lived here with me. I've been in this home by myself. On purpose. I needed it. People need to take time alone. If you haven't had time alone and you're going through shit, and you've never had more than 3 months alone, you need to take it. You need to take at least a 40-day trip, a 40-day retreat. That's why they did the 40 days. 40 days is very biblical. Reason why is because it takes 90 days to break a habit. So 40 days is really close to 90. You know what I'm saying? You're getting close. It takes 40 days to really break a habit, not 90. It takes a couple weeks to break a habit. That's why people would go for these retreats, you know. They would leave and go for these 40 days, you know. Which I'll be doing 40-day retreats. My charter, that's what they're going to be. They're going to be 40-day charters. So when you sign up, then you go on a charter with me. You're going on a 40-day spiritual retreat to a few vacation spots. You're going to be going basically on a honeymoon. It's going to be a 40-day honeymoon spiritual retreat. I'll be taking wedding couples. I'll also be marrying them along with Margarita. That's our business. So we're going to be doing weddings and chartering honeymoons. That's our business, specifically weddings, honeymoons, charters, tours. And she on the side teaches. She teaches children to speak different languages. So I'm going to be traveling with her. A lot of what I do is going to be evolving around her and her teaching the children. So wherever the Holy Spirit, God sends her, you know what I mean, us together, that's going to be what's happening a lot. So there's a lot of times I'm going to be going off, she's going to be teaching, you know what I mean, doing her thing, and I'm going to be having to leave to go do a documentary or, meet up with business stuff or, whatever it is. I would love to have her with me 24/7, which, we're working on it. That's why we're doing all this, not 24/7 physically, but, we're trying to be together. We want to be together, we're going to be getting married. We're building a life together, and we're sharing it with everyone for many reasons, because these women need help. These women of color are in a really shitty situation in the United States of America, our fucking shit country, which I'm really pushing to make our country great again. I believe our country is not shit. It's the system, because the people that are in this country, most of them are great people. It hurts to know that when I've traveled, the way people other countries look at us, it's bad, it's sad. And I'm gonna change it. I want to change it. I believe we should change it as a country. Not all of it is bad. I hear good stuff about the United States of America, but I'll be sharing this stuff with you guys as I travel, like I said, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of Spanish stuff, Mexican stuff soon. And you'll be hearing the language as well, learning it if you're interested. So that's another reason why you definitely want to subscribe if you haven't already. But we're going to read. So we stopped, let's see. So we stopped where Jesus said, I am the bread, and, I am the flesh, eat me, you know what I mean? Basically, eat me, believe in me, Believe that you're eating my flesh when you do mass. When you drink the cup, believe that you are drinking my blood. That's all you got to do. Simply that. So we'll go ahead and keep on reading. I'm just going to read the next paragraph, which is actually it's almost a chapter 7. It says, too tough to swallow. It says, many among his disciples heard this and said, this is a tough teaching, too tough to swallow. Jesus sensed that his disciples were having a hard time with this and said, does this throw you completely? What would happen if you saw the Son of Man ascending to where he came from? The Spirit can make life. Sheer muscle and willpower don't make anything happen. Every word I've spoken to you is a spirit word, and so it is life-making. But some of you are resisting, refusing to have any part in this. Jesus knew from the start that some weren't going to risk themselves with him. He knew also who would betray him. He went on to say, this is why I told you earlier that no one is capable of coming to me on his own. You get to me only as a gift from the Father. It's a fact. He's already calling you. After this, a lot of his disciples left. They no longer wanted to be associated with him. Then Jesus gave the 12 the chance. Do you also want to leave? Peter replied, Master, to whom would we go? You have the words of real life, eternal life. We've already committed ourselves, confident that you are the Holy One of God. Jesus responded, haven't I handpicked you, the 12? Still, one of you is a devil. He was referring to Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot. This man is from the 12, was even then getting ready to betray him. He was consciously making the effort to set up Jesus. Jesus knew. It says, chapter 7. Later, Jesus was going about his business in Galilee. He didn't want to travel in Judea because the Jews there were looking for a chance to kill him. It was near the time of the Tabernacles, a feast observed annually by the Jews. His brother said, why don't you leave here and go up to the feast so your disciples can get a look at the works you do? No one who intends to be publicly known does everything behind the scenes. If you're serious about what you are doing, come out in the open and show the world. His brothers were pushing him like this because they didn't believe in him either. Jesus came back at them. Don't crowd me. This isn't my time. It's your time. It's always your time. You have nothing to lose. The world has nothing against you, but it's up in arms against me. It's against me because I expose the evil behind its pretensions. You go ahead, go up to the feast. Don't wait for me. I'm not ready. It's not the right time for me. He said this and stayed on in Galilee. But later, after his family had gone up to the feast, he also went. But he kept out of the way, careful not to draw attention to himself. The Jews were already out looking for him, asking around, where is that man? There was a lot of contentious talk about him circulating through the crowds. Some were saying, he is a good man, but others said, no, not so. He's selling snake oil. This kind of talk went on and guarded whispers because of the intimidating Jewish leaders. So, people always whisper, hush, hush, they don't want people to know, what's going on, but they're curious, everyone's curious about the next big thing, I'm going to keep on reading, because I want to finish I'm trying to get through John. I want to finish it, it's already been a couple days. I'm trying to get it through this week. It's so hard to get all this stuff in, let alone read the Bible in general. Nobody ever wants to read the Bible. I don't have the time. I want to go do other shit, It says, could it be the Messiah? It says, with the feast already half over, Jesus showed up in the temple teaching. The Jews were impressed but puzzled. How does he know so much without being schooled? Jesus said, I didn't make this up. What I teach comes from the one who sent me. Anyone who wants to do his will can test this teaching and know whether it's from God or whether I'm making it up. That's true, it's facts. That's why I do what I do. Because I know it's the truth. I know because I've experienced it. A person making things up tries to make himself look good, but someone trying to honor the one who sent him sticks to the facts and doesn't tamper with reality. It was Moses, wasn't it, who gave you God's law? But none of you are living it, so why are you still trying to kill me? The crowd said, you're a crazy. Who's trying to kill you? You're demon-possessed. Jesus said, I did one miraculous thing a few months ago, and you're still standing around getting all upset, wondering what I'm up to? Moses prescribed circumcision. Originally, it came not from Moses, but from his ancestors. And so you circumcise a man, dealing with one part of his body. even if it's the Sabbath. You do this in order to preserve one item in the law of Moses. So why are you upset with me because I made a man's whole body well on the Sabbath? Don't be nitpickers. Use your head and heart to discern what is right, to test what is authentically right. That's when some of the people of Jerusalem said, "Isn't this the one they were out to kill? And here he is out in the open saying whatever he pleases, and no one is stopping him? Could it be that the rulers know that he is, in fact, the Messiah? And yet we know where this man came from? The Messiah is going to come out of nowhere. Nobody is going to know where he comes from." That provoked Jesus, who was teaching in the temple, to cry out, "Yes, you think you know me and where I'm from, but that's not where I'm from. I didn't set myself up in business. My true origin is in the one who sent me, and you do not know him at all. I come from him. That's how I know him. He sent me here." They were looking for a way to arrest him, but not a hand was laid on him because it wasn't yet God's time. Many from the crowd committed themselves in faith to him, saying, "Will the Messiah, when he comes, provide better or more convincing evidence than this?" The Pharisees, alarmed at the seditious undertow going through the crowd, teamed up with the high priest and sent the police to arrest him. Jesus rebuffed them. I am with you only a short time. Then I go on to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you won't find me. Where I am, you cannot come." The Jews put their heads together. Where do you think he is going that we won't be able to find him? Do you think he is about to travel to the Greek world to teach the Jews? What is he talking about anyway? You will look for me, but you won't find me, and where I am, you cannot come? On the final climactic day of the feast, Jesus took a stand. He cried out, "If anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. Rivers of living water will brim and spill out of It says, "Rivers of living water will brim and spill out of the depths of anyone who believes in me this way, just as the scriptures say." He said this in regard to the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were about to receive. The Spirit had not yet been given because Jesus had not yet been glorified. Those in the crowd who heard these words were saying, "This has to be the prophet." Others said, "He is the Messiah." But others were saying, "The Messiah doesn't come from Galilee, does he? Don't the scriptures tell us that the Messiah comes from David's line and from Bethlehem, David's village?" There was a split in the crowd over him. So some went so far as wanting to arrest him, but no one laid a hand on him. That's when the temple police reported back to the high priests and the Pharisees, who demanded, "Why didn't you bring him with you?" The police answered, "Have you heard the way he talks? We've never heard anyone speak like this man." The Pharisees said, "Are you carried away like the rest of the rabble? You don't see any of the leaders believing in him, do you? Or any from the Pharisees? It's only this crowd, ignorant of God's law, that is taken in by him and damned." Nicodemus, the man who had come to Jesus earlier and was both a ruler and a Pharisee, spoke up. "Does our law decide about a man's guilt without first listening to him and finding out what he is doing?" But they cut him off. "Are you also campaigning for this Galilean? Examine the evidence. See if any prophet ever comes from Galilee." Then they all went home. I'm going to keep on reading. It says, to throw a stone, chapter 8. Jesus went across to Mount Olives, but he was soon back in the temple again. Swarms of people came to him. He sat down and taught them. The religion scholars and Pharisees led in a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. The same people that were just accusing of Jesus, the same ones. They wanted to rule, they wanted to be worth something, they wanted to conduct God's law and say they know God's law, and they self-righteous. Listen, you're either righteous or you're not, and the only way to be righteous is through Jesus, because he's the only one that is righteous. Because when you're worshiping him, you're living his life, and you're talking his words, his love. It is not you that is living. You're denying yourself to live like him. Alright, so it says, he sat down and taught them, the religion scholars and the Pharisees led in a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery. You know, she was cheating on her husband. You know, and they caught her cheating. You know, which was punishable by death back in those days. So it was very serious. You know, if they caught a woman in the act of adultery or cheating. You know, who wants to kill someone? That's why it's serious, you know, because they were supposed to kill this person. Who wants to be the person that kills this woman? I sure as don't want to be the one to execute this woman. You know, that's why it's very serious. That's why you must read this stuff, you know. You know, people don't really take, when they hear this story, everyone's heard this story, but they never really actually take in consideration and put in retrospect, you know, perspective what it is that really happened, what was going on, what happened in the story. So it says they stood her in plain sight of it says they stood her in plain sight of everyone and said, "Teacher, this woman was caught red-handed in the act of adultery cheating. Moses in the law gives orders to stone such a person. What do you say, Jesus?" They were trying to trap him into saying something incriminating so they could bring charges against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger in the dirt. They kept at him, badgering him. He straightened up and said, "The sinless one among you, go first. Throw the stone." Bending down again, he wrote some more in the dirt. Hearing that, they walked away, one after another, beginning with the oldest. The woman was left alone. Jesus stood up and spoke to her. "Woman, where are they? Does no one condemn you?" "No one, Master." "Neither do I," said Jesus. "Go on your way from now on. Don't sin." So, a lot of people wonder, right, what he was writing in the dirt. Because it doesn't say. I think I know what it is. He was writing down, first of all, Jesus wrote in the sand in the first place. He wrote everything in the sand so it could be erased. So when he was studying, right, not only can God see it, because God is spirit, right? He hovers over the waters, right? God, he's writing for God in plain display, you know what I mean, for him to see, you know, in his own creation that he's created, right? Because yeah, remember Jesus is God at that point. He knew that he was born of God's spirit, that he was one, he literally said, "I am in the Father and the Father is in me." Because his heart was reborn again. It was reborn of the Spirit. So he was constantly spirit-minded. That's why, therefore, it's not him that is living, it is God. If he denies himself and doesn't do wrong. Because he was human, just like us. But he wrote, what he wrote in that sand, man, was the sins. The main sins, the you know, the 7 sins, you know, whatever it is, you know, the 7, you know, whatever, all the stuff he wrote, basically all the stuff they did. He wrote down, you know, okay, you did this, that person walked away. You know, he wrote again, you did this, that person walked away. He looked at that person, I know you fucking did this, you know what I'm saying? I can see it all over you, look at you. You know what I mean? Look how you act. Wrote it down, you know what I mean? So the person could see it. You get what I'm saying? He didn't call it out. He wrote it in plain sight. Because if he called it out, he's attacking their character. You know what I mean? They're just gonna, you know, because that's what they do, you know? He wrote it out for them in plain sight to see it. That's what happened. Promise you that's what happened. Listen, man. I'm gonna finish reading to where it says you're missing God and all this. I'm gonna finish reading. I'm gonna read all of it and then I'm gonna upload this, okay? It says they stood in plain sight of everyone, you know, and I already done read it. So I thought I had to read more. What did I want to say? Listen, all you gotta do is go draw a circle and stand in it. Take a can of paint, draw a circle, go stand in the sand just like Jesus was. Take a stick, draw a circle, jump in it. Jump in that circle with no one else. Do a 360 if you want. Look around, all around you. All your problems come from the person that's standing in that circle.